Hello, this is Christian. In this video, we're going to do a few changes here. We're going to change the title of this to say Flight App, and then I'm going to show you how to create components using the shortcut. Right, so let's go to Visual Studio Code. So here I'm going to open my SRC folder, and inside the app component, we added the nav route before, right? And so you should change those to match what we have earlier. And so I'm going to modify that to add what we should have. So the home stays there, about can stay there. I'm going to put it here for what do we say? App flight, and I can't remember. Short memory here. So we're going to have a flight list, add flight, and about stays there. So the flight list and add flight. So this will put here a flight list, and then this will be add flight. And here I can put I can call it flight, just flights. Put an S here, and this will be just add. Okay, we can change it later. For now, that's fine. All right, so now in my app component HTML, is it here? No, it's still here, right? So the title here will be just a flight app, and we'll remove that #, make it a slash. Okay, so that is good for this part. You can close that now, and then let me see what it looks like. I want to make sure it's using the correct one. So here we go, flight app, and then home, about, flight list, and flight add flight. Okay, so we'll change this later. So let's go, and then I'll show you how to add component using the short method here. So last time we did was you manually copy this in there. Okay, so I'm going to change this. I'm going to show you how to do this again using a different method. So we'll leave this as is, just an example, so I'm not going to do it, but I'll show you. So now I'm going to go into the terminal, and my app is running, so I'm going to open a second terminal and make sure I'm inside the Angular Flight App project. Okay. All right. So now you want to do is you want to let me see, is it still running? I have too many of them. Yep. Yeah, it's still running. So the second one here, I'm going to delete that one. I'll just keep the third one. Okay. Okay, so now to generate a component automatically using the commands CLI is, and this is why Angular CLI is so powerful. You can type in the word ng, and then the word generate, and component, and the name of the component. So for example, we want to call it top nav, right? We call it that, and just hit enter. Okay. And what that would do is, this is a default way to do it. So it's going to generate everything like you see here, all these files, but inside its own, except for the module, inside a folder called tab nav already, as you can see. Okay, I did not create that. If you open that inside the tab nav, you have the same set of files as you see here, minus the module, because the module you have to do separately. And so if you open this, these are all there. There's blank, just one, C data there. This is for a testing, unit testing, and then the component here is all filled in for you. Right, as you can see, you don't have to do all of that stuff here because it's all added. Add a few things here. The init function here is added. This is only for initialization. When you build this component for the first time, it's going to invoke this function here. And you have a constructor because, again, this is a class, right? So the one that we created did not have these, nor does the add component here, right? It didn't have those. But so unless you really need all these like specs and CSS stuff, you can delete them, right? So I can delete this and delete all those stuff, and then just use what I want. And also, if you go into the add module, remember earlier we had to manually add these in. So using the CLI, it knows that it needs to be added in here. So as you can see, it's imported automatically for us without having to do it manually. Okay, and then now it's called top app dash top nav. If you remember, inside here it says app dash top nav, and if you want to use it, you just go and add it to the component that it's in this component is included in, because right now it's only included inside the app component, the app module, so it will only work in there. So it won't work if you add it to the nav over here. I wouldn't think. So you can go here to the app component and say I'm going to add right below it. So we'll say app top nav. Okay, if we save that and go to the browser, and you should see it should have a there it is. So you can see a little data here. That's the nav, right? So it's very quick to do it that way. Now, if you want to delete it, well, there is no command down here in the terminal to remove or uninstall. Okay, so why am I having two of these here? Yeah, so instead of doing that, you could just basically go and delete the folder one by one. Or if you, for example, if you open this file, I leave it open here. So notice this is top nav. So usually go and find everywhere else it's been used and you delete them that way manually. But if you remove the entire folder, just click on it and then just say, delete. Okay. And you see that it should also modify your add module. I'm surprised it didn't do that. Usually it would do it. For some reason it didn't do this part here. But normally, maybe I do a different way. It should remove this automatically for you. If it doesn't, then you have to find all these places and remove them from your app. Otherwise, it's going to have errors. Okay, so that's what we did, and then this one will not work because now we have the problem, right? So again, just remove that. But I'll leave it here for now. I'm going to do another way to show you a different way. So let's say I'm going to do it again. Let's do a Control-C down here. Clear my console. If you go back, notice that we did the same thing here. Now you can use a shorter version, the generate component, for you just say G for generate, and then component just the letter C here. Okay, the name of that would be again top nav. And if you don't want the CSS, for example, if you don't want that CSS, then you put here the dash I for inline, S for style sheet. Okay, I don't know a lot to remember, but these are some very common flags to remember. If you don't want the HTML template, you do the same thing. You want the inline template. That's what it means, right? It doesn't mean, it just means to generate using the inline template. So I showed you earlier last time that if you go here, the add component, and if you change to a will be what I mean when I say inline, right? So it would do that way. Then you don't need to generate the CSS in HTML. That's what that's for. Okay, so so if I'm going to need it, so I'll leave it that is. And if you don't want the test file, the specs, you put a two dashes and say I think it says skip tests. Okay, and we'll see if that works. So if I go ahead and click enter, and it should only generate the component and the HTML template for this this code here. All right, so you see the one in green, you have only two files. That's all you need. And so if you look in the top nav here, that's all you get, the top nav component and the template. So you don't have to use the other files here. And the add modules, again, it'll be automatically added for us already. And since I did not change my add component tab here, this should still work. If I go back and just change, like put a few more here, save that, go to the browser, refresh it, you see the changes come in here. Again, if it doesn't work because you need to reload or rerun it again, but it should work. All right, so I hope that's helpful and kind of show you how to generate your components and in a very fast method here.